Audio morning brief for the U.S. grain markets, 8:43 a.m. Eastern Time, October 11th. I'm Rich Pass for Critical Point. Okay, clearly the level 3 downtrend occurred, is intact, and still working for the December corn futures or corn in general. My favorite daily indicator is now touching oversold, but it has a wide enough spread to suggest chance for lingering near-term downside momentum next 1 to 3 days, and the model's saying that is feasible. However, the model's now putting out a little bit of a warning here that it can bottom today. This is the earliest for a bottom for the level 3 downtrend and the level 3 business cycle that dates back to September 29th. So I think if you see a positive reversal, which was the best kind, meaning put it down, put it up, or you see that there's just a higher close, that it really didn't go down from the prior day, it just started working higher. I think any positive action like that on a daily basis is probably going to be a sign of a level 3 bottom if it occurs anytime now and early next week. And market may stay down into early next week. I don't think so. I think it's this week. But we did have some holiday stuff here that could distort things a little bit on the timing side, okay? So again, I'm also pleased how well the downside targets I gave you worked for yesterday and how well they're working today, okay? And those targets were 486, 484 and a half or so, 482 maybe in 3/4 or 483, something like that. So yes, it's got a little more downside, and yes, you can watch last week's midweek lows. And granted, there could be a down move coming all the way to 480 to 474, but I don't think it's necessary. If it doesn't mean anything. It's just base building. It's just seasonal sloppishness, mushiness. It's probably still in a more important uptrend. And I think it's put in a very important bottom a little while ago. Any rate, I'm looking for a level 3 bottom now and just need a little evidence to the upside. The model's not willing to just go ahead and say buy it right here, right now, try to pick the bottom. Doesn't see enough evidence to take that kind of risk, okay? It would prefer to turn to the bullish side as prices turn up. So watch that and do your own homework of whether or not you really want to buy this now, because you are buying in a downtrend. There's no evidence of the trend has ended, okay? All we're saying is it's due to end, all right? That the level 3 trader has sold enough. The level 2, level 1 trader probably played a little bit of a role in that, but I don't think they did a significant amount. I think they're playing more of a game of just trying to soak up the grain long term, okay? That would be more on the commercial end user side, okay? And the farmers probably just moving stuff to get through harvest, but eventually will probably shut the bin door until next year. All right, so I think it's limited downside here for corn. No sign of a bottom, but we want to be watchful, mindful that when we look out 2 weeks from now, corn would have at least picked its head up some, and it may even do better than that. We'll discuss more of that in the weekly update tomorrow in terms of the larger trends. I'll try to keep this just to the short term, very short term. All right, soybeans are picking their head up here, probably due for a level 4 top, so it ought to slip a little by tomorrow. It may be putting in a level 3 top, but is not working, meaning there's no fire to it. There's no upside. It's still with an overall downtrend, and I'm fine with that, okay? Does mean they're quite bearish. The demand side doesn't really want to do anything. They're complacent here. But is the sell side giving up? Because that's the more important side to watch now, because sellers normally create bottoms, not buyers, okay? The textbook on free market economics doesn't work that way, okay? It's off the mark. So at any rate, the best forecast is it really ought to come down and take out yesterday's low and then snap up. And then if it starts taking out recent daily highs, we'll probably have a sign of not only a level 3 bottom, but something far more important. And I think it's due for a very important bottom sometime this month and starting now, okay? So I personally would favor a little more weakness here. Give it another few days to at least drift a little lower. Maybe it's not going to go below the lowest of our downside objective of that goes down to 1260, but it may visit that level. But I think that's about it. I think the market's getting tired of going down. I think the seller is about done selling, but the buyer is not yet ready to step up and buy. And we got to get that selling low enough so there's just a few more buyers than sellers that can actually turn the market around, okay? Because apparently we're not getting any fresh, exciting news on the bull side, but we're also not getting new bearish news, okay? There may be some macro hedge fund traders been selling soybeans here, but they're not doing it aggressively, okay? And there's even some talk that if the Middle East really were to escalate and get more serious, and Russia, Ukraine get more serious, we ever really went into World War III or whatever, commodities are probably going higher. I don't really buy into that. I don't really want to forecast that, but I would probably lean that way. There may be a little of that kind of tension here and experimenting and gambling a little in commodities, but it doesn't really look like it. It looks like the oil market's already over the Middle East event here. So I think we're still dealing primarily with microeconomics here, normal fundamentals, and I'm just not seeing the bullish fundamentals for soybeans, but I think the bearish fundamentals are becoming tiring, boring, and I think it's getting near a bottom. So if you start seeing soybeans trade up back to $13 in January, I think, yes, if it did it just the next few days here, that could be a late level 3 top, sucker us in, they put it back down by next week, but that's probably going to be about it. It probably bottoms next week and no later, even though I have to allow the entire month. But moving to $13 may be a fact of a sign we're over and done with the level 3 top and a bottom, and it's just going to keep going higher. One way or the other, I do think it rallies from October into late November on into December. But where's the bottom? And we still may be off for 2 or 3 weeks here, but we may be off only this week or next, and it might be bottoming now even. I will prefer it just dipping a little more here into tomorrow, and then we will reevaluate. I think I want to be willing to buy on the way up if we're not actually calling a bottom, whereas I'm not so sure I want to buy right now, okay? But I think we're getting close. I think we're getting close to harvest, seasonal, and business cycle bottoms for soybeans, okay? Now, let's go to the wheat market, and we'll just do the daily chart here. So level 3 top at the start of this week, it's trending lower, it's working for us, and it could place a level 3 bottom towards the end of this week, and that could delay into, say, first half next week. And I think we've probably seen a level 2 top, and I'm willing to just throw that out and saying it didn't work, and I'm pleased that it didn't work. I warned it probably wouldn't. And I think that gets us closer to an important bottom. I think I want to err on the side of a level 3 bottom starting this week to next is going to trigger level 2, level 1, and probably long-term business cycle bottoms, meaning I think up into summer for the long term, up into maybe December or sometime November for the intermediate term, and up for the level 3 looking out over the next 2 weeks, okay? And so I think we're pulling it down, and I think it's just going to it may test the low of that sharp down day off of USDA data or something here a couple of weeks ago. But I don't think it's really going lower than that. I don't see sizable decline here. It could. Wheat is that kind of a beast, okay? But I think we're getting close enough that it's low price, cheap, if not undervalued. And I just think, it's going to turn up. If it starts taking out this week's high, last week's high, I think we just got to err on the side. It's probably going higher in November, maybe December, all right? In the meantime, the level 3 trend is down, no sign of a bottom here. Indicator has enough room going to oversold it. Yes, there can be more downside here. So we'll just keep watching, keep probing for bottom. And that's the way it's looking like all these markets, when you look out a month or two, probably going higher, but when you look at some of the short-term stuff, you're saying it could just be base building stuck in the mud here, and there may even be a bit more downside left yet to kind of wash up this seasonal sluggishness here. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. Have a great day. Thank you.